Saluto.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the mid-year freakout book tag. I don't think I did one of these last year, and I don't remember if I did one of these the year before either. I haven't seen a ton of people doing this in the past few years, but I think that's in part because like tag culture within the booktube community has kind of died out, at least in the past few years. It was much bigger when I first started my channel, but regardless, we're doing it now. So I'm just gonna dive right into it. The first question on this tag is, what's the best book you've read in 2024? And for me, that would be You Again by Kate Goldbeck. I have had a pretty decent reading year so far for the first 6 months of 2024, current reading slump notwithstanding. But You Again is just gonna kind of hold a special place in my heart. It's an enemies to friends to lovers romance that spans several years, follows Josh and Ari and their romantic misadventures in New York City. It's just so much fun. It's hot, it's angsty, it's yearny, and I think probably the highest piece of praise that I can give this book is that it made me reconsider how I feel about friends to lovers, because previously, prior to reading You Again, I was a massive friends to lovers hater. And I'm still a friends to lovers hater, or rather I have reverted to being a friends to lovers hater after reading another book, but this one almost had me. In fact, this one did have me. I was at a point where I could almost understand the friends to lovers girlies. And good for you that you have that. I don't. Second question, what's the best sequel you've read in 2024? That's an easy one because I haven't read any sequels in 2024, so none of them. Next is a new release you haven't read yet, but want to, and for me that's Butter by Asako Yuzuki. I actually have the audiobook for this on hold through Libby. It just came out in April, so I'm very excited for that hold to come through. This is the story of a journalist named Rika who is investigating the story of a cook named Manako who has been accused and convicted of seducing and then murdering several businessmen. Rika is the only member of the press that Manako has consented to speak to thus far, but their conversations start to lean more towards the realm of food as opposed to actual investigation and actual journalism into Manako's case. It definitely sounds like a bit of a psychological thriller or horror type. It sounds just delightfully weird. Also, it's Japanese, and I have yet to pick up a piece of Japanese fiction that I don't enjoy, so I have very high hopes for this one. Next is, what's your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? And for me, that's The Pairing by Casey McKiston, and I'm going to tell you right now, the current reading slump that I am in at the moment, at present, I blame Casey McKiston entirely, 1000%, because this is the only book I want to read right now, and I can't because it's not been released yet, but it's all I want to read. The Pairing is a queer romance that follows Kit and Theo, who are best friends to lovers to exes to potentially lovers again. While Kit and Theo were together, they booked themselves onto this food and wine tour across Europe, but then they broke up. And then following the breakup, they both decide to take the wine tour anyway, independently of one another, but of course, if they're both taking the wine tour, they're both going to be on the wine tour. It's food and wine and most likely a hefty dose of pining, touring across continental Europe, and what more could you want from a summer romance? Now, I feel like the next one may surprise some people because it is the biggest disappointment of the year, and I want to preface this by saying I don't think this was a bad book. It just wasn't what I expected. And that is In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. And when I say I think it might surprise some people, it's because I have loved everything I've read by TJ Klune in the past. I know TJ Klune's writing is beloved by many people. I am one of those people, but again, In the Lives of Puppets just didn't really hit for me, and so while it wasn't my worst rated book of the year so far, it definitely was the biggest disappointment. This follows Victor Lawson, who is a human who has been raised by robots. Out in the woods, away from society. A man and his robot father. They have, over time, expanded their robot family. They now also have a sadistic nurse robot named Nurse Ratchet and a Roomba named Rambo, and the story kicks off with them finding yet another robot to contribute to their little ecosystem, a killing machine. Unfortunately, Vic's father, robot father, Geo, he is kidnapped by the government, which he fled decades ago and taken back to the robot city, and now Vic and Nurse Ratchet and Rambo and Hap are going on an adventure to save him. And again, it's not that I didn't like this book necessarily, it just did not really meet my expectations. It felt very slow paced for a hero's journey type adventure, and while we did get the kind of introspection and personal connections and really beautiful prose that I love so much about TJ Klune's writing, it really didn't feel like we had time for that, or at least not time for that to be developed the way it is in other works by TJ Klune, other works that I've really enjoyed. And so it was simultaneously slow-paced and emotionally rushed, and I just don't think it worked as well as it could have. On the opposite end of the spectrum, from the biggest disappointment, we have the biggest surprise of the year so far, and that has been The Summer of Broken Rules by, oh god, K.L. Walther. The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther is a YA contemporary romance, and I don't like those. So it was very surprising that this one was like a 4.5 star read, 5-star read. I had so much fun. I enjoyed this one so much. This follows 18-year-old Meredith, who is returning to Martha's Vineyard with her family for the first time since the death of her older sister Claire 18 months prior. Meredith and her family are coming back to Martha's Vineyard for a cousin's wedding, and in the whole week leading up to the wedding, the cousin declares that all of the guests are to take part in this giant game of Assassin, which, if you're unfamiliar with the game of Assassin, I feel sorry for you. It's a very fun game, big group game that kind of needs to stretch over an extended period of time, wherein you have a target and you have to secretly, covertly take out your target via water pistol or water balloon or water gun of some kind, or a hose. And once you take out your target, they tell you their target and you move on to the next one until there's one left standing. So in order to win, Meredith is very motivated to win Assassin because it was kind of her older sister's thing, and she wants to honor her older sister by winning this game for her. So she finds herself in an unlikely alliance with a cute groomsman named Wit. Ensue the butterflies. Ensue all of the butterflies. Again, this surprised me because I'm not really into YA romance like at all at this point in my life. I'm just not the target market. I'm not the demographic for YA books in general, but specifically YA romance. They just annoy me. I picked this book up for my trip to Athens back in April on the grounds that somebody online said it had Mamma Mia vibes. And while the vibes were not necessarily like Greek island, it definitely gave like nostalgic summer, family bonding, feet kicking romance, butterflies galore. It is very much just like an endless summer type book, so I highly recommend picking it up if that's something you're looking for this summer. The next prompt is a new favorite author, and if Casey McKiston is the cause of my current reading slump, Lex Croucher is going to save me. I am putting Lex Croucher in the same category as Casey McKiston for like sweet, yearny, shimmery, romantic comfort. I have only read one of their books so far, but I do intend to read more because that one book, Gwen and Art Are Not in Love, was definitely one of my favorites of the year so far. Again, feet kicking YA romance. Is YA romance good now? What is happening? I need to move on to the next prompt before I have an existential crisis about YA romance, but not that this prompt is really going to help me because it's newest fictional crush. Who is your newest fictional crush? I'm going to be honest, I didn't think I had one this year, and then I remembered Ready or Not by Cara Stone, and specifically I remembered The Baby Daddy. The Baby Daddy from Ready or Not by Cara Stone. If you don't know anything about this book, it is a one-night stand, pregnancy, friends to lovers romance, but the baby daddy and the hero, the romantic lead, are not the same person. So it's not like a surprise baby gets the main couple together. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not. That said, Ethan, he's not even the romantic lead, but just like his personality, the way he handles the whole situation, the way he treats the main character, the mother of his child, the way he treats his girlfriend, because he's got a girlfriend who is not the mother of his child, his whole personality, I'm just like, Shep who? Who the fuck is Shep? So we're choosing No Thoughts Head Empty Golden Retriever Boy over Ethan, the owner of a cool Brooklyn bar that allows dogs inside? Choices were made, and they're not the ones that I would have made. The next prompt is, who is your newest favorite character of the year? And I don't know that I can pick one based on the books that I've read so far this year, but if I had to, it would probably be Uva from A Man Called Uva by Frederick Bachman. He's just so grumpy and lovable. I want to irritate him until he cracks. Cracks a smile, that is. He's trying to be scary and he's failing miserably. I love him so much. Next is what's a book that made you cry this year, and while many things do make me cry, I'm a big crier these days. Funnily enough, no book has made me cry yet this year. I'm as surprised as you are. The next prompt, though, is a book that made you happy, and for me that would have to be Gwen and Art Are Not in Love, again by Lex Croucher. This is a medieval, queer, enemies to friends, found family, dual romance situation. I talked about it at length in my spring favorites wrap up, so I can link that for you if you want to go watch it. See really what I have to say about this book, but it made me very happy. The next prompt is, what is the prettiest book you've bought this year so far? And I've only bought 2 books this year so far, and I wouldn't say either one of them is particularly like breathtakingly beautiful. They're just kind of like your standard, I bought this at Waterstones covers. Nothing special, they're not special editions or anything. That said, The Kamigawa Food Detectives was a cover buy, and I did enjoy the read itself, but it was a cover buy. I mean, it's got noodles and a cat. Of course it was of course I picked this up. And the last prompt and the last question for this tag is, what books do you still need to read this year? And I'm just gonna read to you the list of books that I have on my phone right now on hold through Libby. Okay, what do we got? Young Manga by Douglas Stewart, Girl Winter by Brittany Aristo, Best Star People by Carlos Wilson, Happy Hour by Marlo Bros, Story by Jade Song, Cody's Minute by Lauren Singer, Use the Normal by Kristen College June, I'm a fan by Sheena Tell, Funny Story by Emily Henry, I'm just dating by After Late, My Year of Wrestling Relaxation by Sesame Street, because I'm enjoying weird lit, okay? I'm enjoying weird girl lit fic, and I feel like I have to. The Dream Club by Lisa Harrison, Natural Beauty by Leaning, Ground Dynamics, The Pessimist, Talking Strangers, This is what it sounds like, Murder Your Employer, Or You're Not the Only Fruit, Send New, How to Come Out of Your Mind, Good Done Against the Void. Anyway, I have a lot of books to get through, and all I want to read right now is one last stop. Happy Pride, because it's Pride Month as I'm filming this. I don't think you're going to see it during Pride Month, but it's Pride Month right now. Anywho, if you've read any of those books that I'm still trying to get to this year, please let me know what you thought of them, if I should take any of them off my list, if I should add anything to my list. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you have anything to say about any of the answers that I gave to these prompts, please leave me a comment down below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell to see when I post new ones. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love y'all so much, and until next time, peace out, Brussels sprouts.